This is a video on how to draw this little guy. It's an Indie Maverick style otter. In that it has a patterned sweater on. It is a little bit personified, and he's looking straight on into, I guess, the viewer's face. So to simplify this as much as possible, I'm just going to work in the shapes that I see. And the one thing I'm going to start off with is the head of this little guy. I do want him to only be head and shoulders. I want his head obviously to fit onto my page, so I have to be careful where I put him. And this is in a good place because, as you can see, I've got his head and shoulders, and his head is taking up a good portion of the paper. We don't want to have little teeny tiny pictures. Like, I wouldn't want him to be, you know, just this big. We don't like to take up only that much space on our paper. We want to fill it up as much as we can. So here we go. I look at the shape of this head. It is not a circle. It is kind of rounded on top. It comes out on the sides, and then it comes down to like a chin. So I'm going to start with the top. And I like to work, especially if I'm working on a furry animal, I'm going to go ahead and work with a little texture, a little bit of that furry texture, and it helps me with some line control as well. Here I have the dome or the top of his head. I'm going to come out to those fat otter cheeks. Rounding. Okay, now this is where it kind of slopes down into his chin. Okay, so there we go. We've got his head. His ears are pretty easy. We just have one little ear here, one little ear here. You could do those smaller if you like. I think probably on a real otter they're smaller. And I do along the ridge. This is a little bit of personifying, I think. I don't know really that this is what an otter's ears look like. All right, now, when I look at this, I think this is about where his face would be coming forward. So I'm going to make a couple of lines to show that. You know, it has a bit of a snout that comes forward in real life. And because his ears are going to be a little bit above his eyes, I know his eyes are going to be around here. I'm just kind of lightly sketching where those eyes will be. I'm going to add more detail to that a little later. He's got a large nose, so I'm going to come down here. This is where I want it to be. And it's just kind of a long oval shape. Otters, when I draw an otter, I kind of tend to do a little bit of a slight bean shape like that. We have almost like a double smile, one here, and I'm going to connect those. I'm going to put a little fur for his chin. They tend to be a little lighter on the snout in the color of their fur. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of an outline coming out from his nose, almost like parentheses. One parenthesis here, the other parenthesis here at the beginning. And now I'm ready to add a little more detail. For the eyes, the first thing I'm going to do is just make a circle, which is where the I guess, reflection, the light reflection will be. I want to make them as close to the same spot as I can. I'm kind of rushing a little bit on this, so it might not be perfect. And now I'm going to just kind of scribble in the dark pupil. And then the colored iris. He looks a little cross-eyed, which I think is kind of cute. When I do my iris, what I generally do is draw radiating lines that come out from the pupil to the end of the iris. For the nose, I'm going to leave the top part, kind of a top oval there, a little lighter, and then get my color in down here. The value's darker here. And then I can add some details of fur. Remember, we're doing that with kind of like these little dashed lines. They don't have real long fur, so you don't want to have long lines. If you have long lines, it's going to look like he has long fur. So do what you like with that. And it may also make a difference when you color it. I do want to outline his eyes a little bit more. I can give him some little eyelashes too if I want. Okay, so I'm ready to do his, he's wearing a turtleneck. What I do for that is I'm going to start over here about where the ear is. So I make an invisible line. I'm not touching the paper. Making a little invisible line that goes to about here. And I go bump, bump. Same thing over here on this side. Invisible line. At the bottom of his head, I'm going to go bump, bump. And I connect these. And as you can see here, I just repeat that wavy line. And now he's wearing a turtleneck. The shoulders are easy. They don't have real wide shoulders from here, so I'm just going to draw kind of an arc line down. An arc line down. I think his body is going to be about as wide as where his eyes are. So here I have a little line. And here I have a little line. And there we go. Now I can add whatever details I want to give his sweater the pattern that we see in Indie Maverick's work.